Phoenix here, bringing you guys the Club World Cup knockout predictions. Obviously, I've already done this before the tournament began, and there's a few things we got wrong, but there's also a lot of things we got correct. But now that we've watched every single team play 3 times, we're in a better position to be able to spoil the knockout bracket. So let's get straight into it. We begin with today's games, of course. Palmeiras versus Botafogo, an all-out Brazilian clash. Now, when it's an all-out head-to-head between 2 teams from the same country, you can definitely look at the head-to-head and see the recent matches between the two. Botafogo have the advantage. Botafogo seem to be a team that are going to be very comfortable in one-off matches. We've seen the way they played. Palmeiras are the better team overall, but we've seen they seem to be lacking that game management, that inexperience. Going 2-0 down against Inter Miami, for example, isn't ideal. Estevao has been lacking consistency. I'm going with Botafogo in this one. I'm very bullish about this. I think Botafogo are going to defend deep as they tend to do. They'll hit Palmeiras on the counter. They'll get the goal and then they'll shut up shop. And I see Palmeiras struggling. It'll be an under 2.5 game in terms of goals. And Botafogo will find a way to go through. Benfica versus Chelsea. A historic matchup, if you will, in that Europa League final all the way back in 2013. For those of us that remember that Chelsea emerged victorious and they beat Benfica even in the Champions League the year prior to that. So Benfica will be out for revenge. Probably the toughest game for me to call in this because both teams, it's tough to know exactly what to expect. There's almost 2 different sides to both teams. Chelsea, generally speaking, I like what I see. You know, defensively, they definitely seem like they've sorted things out. But then they can easily have a game like they did against Flamengo where it completely falls apart. Enzo Fernandez back against his former team. Benfica, though, that game against Bayern, even though it was the Bayern's second team at the start, I was mega impressed. I got a really good feeling about Benfica, even though Pavlidis has not been unlocked yet, and Liam Delap for Chelsea has. I do expect Chelsea to win the midfield battle as they tend to do against most clubs, but the lack of consistency for Chelsea, especially in front of the net, is problematic. I think Benfica will be more ruthless and more decisive. Angel Di Maria especially has been having a fantastic tournament. He'll be up against Cucurella, will be a tough battle. And also the goalkeeper, I think, will play a decisive role. Trubin has been sensational. Chelsea's goalkeepers, we know it's tough to know what to expect. There's a mistake in them. I'm going with Benfica. So, if you will, 2 upsets to kick off this bracket. Inter versus Fluminense. My Inter, I don't like Fluminense. I think by far they're the weakest of the Brazilian teams. Going forward, they don't have much. They're a decent team defensively. They defend deep, but they don't really have anything going forward. I don't see how they're going to trouble us going forward. I see this being a comfortable 2-0 win for Inter to move on to the next round. Manchester City versus the snake in the grass, Simone Inzaghi's Al Hilal. Inzaghi and Pep meet again. Obviously, Pep beat Inzaghi in the Champions League final a couple of years ago. But this year at the Etihad, we drew away. But again, it's pointless really drawing those comparisons, considering Inzaghi is with a new team. Manchester City, for me, are the firm favourites in this whole tournament. It's a completely different City team. I expect them to steamroll through Al Hilal. Al Hilal, I've not really been impressed with. Not at all, really. So, very easy one for me. I see City going through and expect plenty of goals in this game. It could be a bloodbath again. Speaking about bloodbaths, why, man? I don't want to see this game. I don't want to see this game because even though Inter Miami have looked much better than I expected, right? Like in possession they look comfortable. Out of possession, it's not a disaster. But this is the champions of Europe we're talking about. This is a team that destroyed everybody in their pod this year. Botafogo shown that they can be beaten. But again, PSG rests the players in that game. Expect the full strength 11. Maybe even Ousmane Dembele will start. I expect like a 4-1. I'm sorry, man. Messi, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. If he pulls this through, if by some miracle he pulls this through, number 9 on its way. But I can't see it. PSG to win comfortably. Then comes probably the game I'm most looking forward to in this entire round of 16. Flamengo Bayern Munich. Flamengo for me, the best non-European team remaining in this competition. I so love the way they play. I think Felipe Luis is doing some incredible things. Bayern Munich, I picked them to win the whole thing before the tournament started. And of course, against Benfica, we've seen they crumbled, but of course they rest the players. It'll be their first 11 starting. They are looking more shaky defensively, more than I expected, which is problematic. But when Olise, Kane, Kimmich start, it is a different Bayern team. But they still have the same problems they had obviously before the tournament started and everything that we've seen in the last season. Sané's not at it. Gnabry's not at it. Muller's not at it. Palhinha's not at it. Sasha Bowie's not at it. These are players who will let Bayern down. But in a one-off knockout game, you can never, ever, ever underestimate the importance of a number 9. Kane will be decisive. I think he'll be the difference maker. I've got Bayern just about pipping Flamengo. So no surprises there. Dortmund versus Monterrey. Don't trust Dortmund. Don't trust Dortmund whatsoever. Monterrey, I thought, were one of the weakest teams before the competition started, but they've shown they have a really good ability to stay in games and then when it matters, up it up. That's exactly what you need to do in these type of knockout matches. Dortmund have been incredibly wasteful and they do concede chances. I see Monterrey outsmarting Dortmund. I'm sensing an upset here. I've got Monterrey eliminating Dortmund. Real Madrid versus Juventus. Obviously, I've made fun of Juventus, but be careful because Tudor, for some reason, in my opinion, it was an absolute howler. But he rested, of course, their best players against City. And Juventus, like I've been mentioning throughout, they're a team who rely very much on their best players. Similar to Bayern, their backups are horrific. So when Yildiz doesn't play, when Cambiaso doesn't play, when Keper and Thuram doesn't play, it's a different Juventus, right? But I've been so impressed with Real Madrid. They do concede chances, and I expect plenty of goals in this Real Madrid-Juventus game. I really do. Juventus, we've seen they're going out to attack, which is a rarity. It's been a while since we've seen a Juventus team like that, but they know defensively they don't have the ability to keep clean sheets. This isn't Chiellini, Barzagli, Bonucci. It's a far cry from that. They cannot defend. Their best chance is attack. And I think that's what they'll try and do. And Real Madrid have looked vulnerable defensively. But under Xabi Alonso, they got their pressing spot on. They got the patterns that are starting to form. And more importantly, the individual players are rising their level. Fran Garcia, Arda Güler, these are players who didn't shine last season. They look already completely different players. Bellingham looks rejuvenated. And more importantly, Vinicius is on form. I only see a Real Madrid win here. plenty of goals. It'll be 3-1, 3-2 Real Madrid. So that leaves us with the quarterfinals now. Botafogo Benfica, which is of course an upset to begin with. And again, I like what I see from Botafogo. I'm going with them going through against Benfica. I think they'll outsmart Benfica. They know how to stay in games. Benfica will get nervous, as they tend to do when the pressure is on. So Botafogo through to the semifinals. Inter versus Manchester City. The rematch of the Champions League final from 2023. But it's two completely different teams. Inter also with a different manager. We've played against each other at the Etihad 0-0. But this is a different city. I still think Inter, even though we're improving, that game from May 31st, it's still on the player's mind. We have been extremely wasteful in this tournament. Yes, with hopefully Francesco Pio Esposito, we can be more clinical now. But I can't see us going through in this game. I think Manchester City want it more. I think their players are fresher. I think their players are rejuvenated, whereas Inter's ones, we still need a break. You can tell that I think when it comes to a game like this, we're going to just fall short. And it's a shame, but I'll be happy. I'll be proud of the team if we reach this stage. But I only see Manchester City winning here. It's going to be very, very tough for Inter to match City in midfield. We're lacking Çalhanoğlu. Starting with Aslani, it's a recipe for disaster. And Haaland in particular, for me, has been... I'm still incredibly, incredibly pleased. And almost, I would say, one of the most disrespected and underrated performances from Haaland. I'm so happy for him, because the way he can put City on his back when needed. And it's a different Haaland, by the way. It's a Haaland that was looking sharper. The ball was glued to his feet. It'll be Haaland Acerbi again. Acerbi's pocketed him before. But I think on this occasion, Haaland will cause us some serious problems. PSG Bayern Munich. This was my final. But I expected, of course, Bayern to win the group. And I expected them to meet in the final before the tournament began. PSG will be the favorites. I mentioned again Bayern having problems defensively. But if there's a team that can cause PSG problems, I think it's Bayern Munich. They've beaten them already this season. They have that number 9. Dembele is not exactly match fit and firing like he was towards the end of the last season, and like he has been in 2025. I think Kimmich will have to play a big game. I think Bayern can cause them problems from set pieces. And I'm going and I'm sticking with what I said before the tournament. I think Bayern Munich, again, via an inspirational hurricane, to eliminate PSG and cause an upset. Real Madrid Monterrey up against Sergio Ramos. Real Madrid have already dispatched of one Mexican team. I don't see them having troubles with this one. They look comfortable under Xabi. And like I mentioned, every single game, they look like they're getting stronger and stronger. So for me, those are the semifinals that I have. I'm still sticking a little bit similar to what I done before the tournament. City, Real Madrid, Bayern were 3 of the 4 teams I picked. PSG were the other team. But of course, we're going to have an upset here. I don't see an upset in the semifinal. I think Manchester City, like I mentioned, are the favorites. I've got them reaching the final. Between Bayern and Real Madrid, we've seen Xabi completely fall apart against Bayern Munich this season, in the Champions League especially. I think it's going to be one of those cases whereby Real Madrid will fall short just about against Bayern. I think with Bayern having played more games together under Vincent, this is the type of game where with Madrid, they concede a little bit too many at the moment, too many chances, and I think Bayern will make them pay. I think Bayern can overwhelm Real Madrid going forward. Not saying Madrid can't cause them problems at the other end, but I've got Bayern narrowly going through circa 2-1 score, which sets up a Manchester City versus Bayern final. I said Bayern will win the tournament before a ball was kicked, but I've been looking at the way City are playing. I don't see anybody stopping them. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I think City are going to make this look easy as well. I think it'll be a one-sided final. The last time these two teams met, of course, was on the way when City won the Champions League. There were individual mistakes by Bayern Munich. City, to me, look complete. I'm not seeing weaknesses. I'll see them winning the midfield battle. They have the number 9 needed to score chances. The only thing with City is, of course, wasteful wingers, but we've seen the same thing with Bayern Munich. Yes, Ole say Ait Nouri should be a good matchup for Bayern. A lot of praise for Ait Nouri going forward, but defensively, those of us that have seen him, we know he's not the best going or the best defensively as opposed to going forward. But City, like I mentioned, look the more comfortable team. And with Rodri and Reindeers as well, they look the fresher team. Rodri basically looks like he's just starting his season and he's only getting stronger and stronger with each passing game. Foden looks rejuvenated, and they got strength and depth, of course. Cherki, Marmoush, Savinho, Doku, and Haaland. I'm going with Manchester City to win the whole tournament and to retain the title. Many people don't remember, but City technically are the defending champions because Real Madrid won the Intercontinental Cup. So there you have it from the Phoenix. As always, a lot of analysis has been put into this. You guys can trust me. I'm extremely confident and bullish. Let's make some serious chitching. Let me know which one you think I've got wrong, where I've gone wrong, and who you guys think will win the Club World Cup. I would love nothing more than an Inter Al Hilal matchup in the quarterfinal, and obviously us dispatching them and hopefully matching PSG again in the final. But I can't see it happening. This is what I've gone with. Phoenix